Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. We got breaking news all over the place for the Chicago Bears. We got a lot that we got to get into on this episode. Number one, the Chicago Bears have hired or are working to finalize a deal per Adam Schefter to bring in former Lions wide receiver coach Antwaan Randle, their new assistant, to be their new assistant head coach / wide receiver coach. Per sources, Randle is following Ben Johnson to Chicago. This is a massive get for me as a Bears fan. If you remember, if we're talking about setting a culture, if we're talking about setting a standard, remember when I believe it was Jameson Williams throws the football to Tyreek Stevenson, trying to be a little bit of a jerk. Hey, take this with you, whatever you want to do. Here we go. Randle absolutely laying into him on the sideline, saying we don't need that in that moment. Also, we got more breaking news, and we're going to break all of this down as well. Chicago Bears are bringing over Al Harris from the Cowboys, who was their DB's coach / assistant head coach over there as well, to come over here and be a DB's coach, the passing game coordinator for the Chicago Bears. We'll talk about all that and more in today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Joel, all this news just starting today. And you're in Hollywood. What's going on with the glasses, bro? What's happening here?
You want the truth or the politically correct answer?
I don't know if I want either. I don't know. Listen, I love this. Let's start it off here, man, because I love the fact that the Bears are looking to bring in Antwaan Randle. I think that this is a massive name to bring in for the Chicago Bears. Because of, like I just said, he's a guy who's a standard setter and a culture setter. And I think you saw that in his time in Detroit and spent some time here in Chicago anyway.
Yeah. He went to Thornton. So, I was in high school with him at the same time. And I remember actually when Ty Streets left Rich South and went over to Thornton, and they had a squad over there. But overall, him he was a solid player in the NFL. And I think he brings a certain amount of toughness. And if he's had anything to do with helping the receivers of the Lions, with St. Brown and those boys over there, it's positive. The thing is that you need talent regardless. If you have talented coaches with talented players, you can get some type of results. So we'll see what happens. Until we get to, week one of the season and see what this offense looks like, all this feels good. It's great. Fill out the staff and just see what we're doing. The biggest thing for me still is I'm still waiting to see O-line coaches. I'm still waiting to see that, but Randle with receivers, I think he should be positive with, in terms of DJ Moore. We don't know if they're re-signing Keenan, if Keenan ends up leaving. With Rome, if he's going to be a good, does he have any impact in assisting Rome getting better? It's all good. What I like to see is that this offense is going to get strengthened and actually become a problem.
No, 100%. Listen, I think here's the thing, though. You're making hires right now that are – it's a step up from what we've had in the building, and we've seen it be a step up. It's a step up from as far as culture setters, as far as guys who are going to set a standard, and we've seen that happen in these guys' time in Detroit. I like the fact that you've gone out and you've added this to your team. I think that you're starting off now understanding, listen, you want to talk about being able to go out there and develop guys. Amon-Ra St. Brown was not a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Brown was a guy who was believed to be too small to play the position at this level, and he's turned into one of the best wide receivers in football. I think Jameson Williams has absolutely gone out there and played as well as any receiver in the league. I think that you're talking about culture setters. You're talking about bringing in guys that have that development history. That's what the Bears have been lacking for so incredibly long. And it's good to see that now, right, you're bringing in those guys who have that proven development. I think that we had a lot of questions around Shane Waldron. I remember when Shane Waldron came here, I was kind of sitting here and I was like, listen, guys, I'm hearing a lot of he's the same dude that Luke Getsy was when he left the building, but maybe he's going to be different. he proved to be pretty much that same kind of guy, that same kind of talent developer that Luke Getsy was. I'm glad to see that you bring in guys that we can look at the work that they've actually had their hands on and see the production that they can have brought to a NFL football field.
I was going to crack a joke that maybe if they were here, we could have got the other St. Brown.
Why the second we added you, you like whipped your neck back,
bro? Because I thought I was.
Did you just see a demon right there? What was that?
Did y'all see that?
Well, 666 in the chat.
Hey, what's happening?
Damn, we got 600. Damn, we over 600 in the chat.
Oh, 600 in the chat. 5 minutes into the video. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, let me get a little.
Why
600 in the chat. 600.
Hey, time out though. Why we getting Miami Joel, bro?
I don't know what's going on with Joe.
Why we getting Miami Joel? Hey, bro, hey, if you're talking to the Connect, that's cool, man.
Hey, I told you, you get a little. First, you get the cane, and then you get the trollops.
Yeah.
And the trollops bring more cane.
We're talking sugar cane,
and it's gonna bring more.
She in room 222. We 222. I got the pretty things flying across the Atlantic.
Ringo, what do you think of the Bears' first two hires here, starting off with Antwaan Randle out in taking him from Detroit to come over here and be the assistant head coach? I like the title improvement as well. A lot of power for Randle and hopefully an opportunity for him to move on in the NFL and be a head coach eventually.
I just think about it like at the end of the day, this looks like familiarity with them Ben Johnson. This is what Ben Johnson knows, right? I mean, if you think about it, it's like he already said, they're trying to win and win now. And he's seen what Detroit has done. He's seen what Detroit has done as far as, hey, we've been in the dumps, we built this from the ground up. They're trying to bring in coaches that they know that work hard. At the end of the day, you have to remember what Ben Johnson said as well. He's going to delegate certain responsibilities to certain coaches to put it on them. So he's building the staff that's going to say, hey, look, my group, we're going to be able to work. This group is going to be able to work. And when we come together as one, this is what the final product is going to look like, because the Bears can't be pushovers. He knows that the other three teams in the division all went to the playoffs. That looks like work. That looks like determination. So that is what he's trying to bring in, and I love that.
Yeah. I think this is a great get overall. Joe, what you was gonna say?
No, I think that what you're seeing is that for eons, the Bears would spend some money or put more impetus on the defense itself. And now we're seeing that they're actually paying to care for the offensive side of the ball. So it's like we're still going to have a good defense. It would be nice to finally have that vision of kind of like the Tampa squad, where you got a really good offense, like how Tom Brady was with the playmakers he had to pair with that defense. It'd be nice to finally get a true balance of an offense. So if the guys that they're hiring here, like shout out, who's that? Like JB, welcome home, Twan. That's great. I think it's cool to bring one of your guys back home. It's another guy like Greg Lewis. He plays. I think he's a coach for the Ravens. I went to high school with him. He's a year younger than me. It's interesting to see guys come back home full circle. But to me, the guys that are coming here, that means that it's a quality that they're hopefully going for. That means it's going to cost. I saw that earlier. Oh, Noah P 0351. You kidder, you. That drywall. Put that stuff up.
No, but I think this is the thing. These are the first two hires. These are not the big names, and we got to talk about the plan was to come in here and talk about the fact that Hank Fraley, the Bears have missed out on him, but some of the names that they're going to be bringing in as well as that, right? But these are the first two hires. These are the first two names that you get on the list of guys that you're looking to bring in. It's not a bad start. In fact, this is a why am I backwards? I just noticed this. Like my background is backwards. Dang it. There we go. All right. That's better. That's my Michelle. I think you're bringing in guys who have been a part of the NFL, who have been a part of teams, who understand what it takes to go out there and not only develop players, but be developed as a player, who understand the conversations that you need to have back and forth. I think on top of that, you're bringing in guys who have that structure, have that relationship already with Ben Johnson. Here's the one thing, right, that I like about the Randle hire is that, him and Ben Johnson have worked very closely together. He's now Ben Johnson's right-hand guy. He comes in here as the assistant head coach and the wide receivers coach, right? This is the number 2 in the building, and we talked about this because Tom Pelissero put this out a little bit, probably about 20-30 minutes ago, that the Lions are promoting Hank Fraley to run game coordinator and offensive line coach per sources, an important piece of the puzzle staying in Detroit for Dan Campbell, as Dan Campbell remodels his staff following the departure of both coordinators. With that in mind, that you're keeping Hank Fraley, who was believed to be Ben Johnson's right-hand guy there in Detroit. Now you go out and you get that guy who, again, worked with Ben Johnson in his time there, also understands how Ben Johnson wants to work, and is able to distribute that out to the rest of the team, to that wide receiver room, a room where, let's be real, he's talking to the entire team, but he still comes in as the wide receivers coach. I love DJ Moore. I love Keenan Allen. I like Roman Dunze. We didn't see the best production out of these guys this season. And on top of that, we didn't see the best body language out of some of those players on the field as well. Those are things that you didn't see in Detroit. Now, again, Detroit was winning a heck of a lot more. But when you did have those frustrated moments, when you did have those moments where the Chicago Bears where the Lions were struggling a little bit, and maybe the wide receivers were getting a little bit out of body, Antwaan was right there to be like, yo, what are we doing here? We saw that in multiple games this season. I think that those are things that you have to look at as the Chicago Bears and the Chicago Bears fans, and feel good about having somebody like that coming in the building.
Yeah. No, it's very encouraging. I mean, the thing is, to me, honestly, that doesn't really move the needle so much with me, because with Ben Johnson, I'm happy that he is the de facto OC. So to me, that gives me the stability that I've been looking for a very long time for the Bears. Like, I've been tired of them hiring certain coaches where it's like, it doesn't make any sense. If you hire a coach, and then we have an offense, and then he must be great, must be a head coach, and then he leaves. We don't have that problem anymore. We just need him to be good, so that hopefully we have a 10-year coach, or at least it gives us a good 5-year run before he gets old and stale at year 10, and then it turns into Tomlin and Harbaugh. Just good teams.
100%.
I'll take it though.
No,
Listen, I hope that we get to Tomlin or Harbaugh levels. I mean, Harbaugh went to a Super Bowl. And Tomlin went to a Super Bowl and won one. Two of the Harbaughs won one. One Harbaugh went. Let me get there.
No, Harbaugh's got. Does he have one or two? He won.
John.
Now you're talking about both. John
has two.
John has two. Jim went to one.
Jim went to one.
But Jim's got a natty on John.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying in general. Like, the whole idea is
the natty is still up there. What's wrong with this? Y'all see this? This is just because of Illinois.
My point is just the point is that if he is successful, it's nice to have something in place. We just need, the way that the reception that Ben Johnson got was incredible, and it's like everybody's happy. They both wanted each other, so they're both here. So let's just hopefully we get some results on the field. I mean, I'm expecting this team if you're bringing in the coaching staff, if you're spending the money, we're looking at a playoff contender, because they can't. We're not looking at winning 7-8 games this year. They have to come out firing. And the rookie quarterback, he's done with his rookie year. So, it's time to, put up or shut up. Because a team you only have like a 3-year window with most of these teams as it is, in terms of drafting players and stuff.
And I think too, I think the biggest thing in scrims is just accountability. Like, I think the players want accountability all the way through with the coaches, and the coaches want the same thing. And I mean, it's like Pat brought up. You seen Randle kind of, anytime that they tried to get out of body. You know, he was the one to calm him down. We've seen that a couple of times with the both games with the Lions. Jameson Williams got into it with I think it was Stevenson.
Tyreek
to the sideline. Hey man, hey, we need you to lock it. Come right out. Next thing you know, he's scoring touchdowns. So I mean, those are the things that you want to see. And listen, if he's talking about accountability, like this is the kind of staff that he wants to bring in. Hopefully, you see that all the way through training camp, all the way up in the preseason, and then hopefully that follows up into the season. So I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, no, and listen, I think that the fact that the hires don't stop there. We've really talked about, Antwaan Randle being one of those big name guys that have been brought in, and of course because he's got the local connection, he's gonna fit in. The Bears love a local connection guy, right? This is the new thing for the Bears over the last 4 or 5 years. They're gonna bring in a dude that's been in Chicago before because he knows the expectation. It hasn't worked. But what I will say is this. I also like the fact that you're bringing in guys that have had a ton of responsibility before. With Mike McCarthy out in Dallas, there was a big wonder on what was going to happen with a lot of the staff that they had over there with their new search for a head coach. Well, Al Harris has become the latest to exit that organization. He has agreed to terms with the Chicago Bears to join as their passing game coordinator for 2025 and beyond, tapped by incoming head coach Ben Johnson, returning to the familiar confines of the NFC North, where he spent 8 seasons of his All-Pro and Pro Bowl career with the Green Bay Packers. So there's some double agent action going on there, ladies and gentlemen. A little double agent action going on there. But when you talk about him, he was a DB's coach down there. I mean, you talk about, again, guys that he has developed. He's worked with the guys like Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland in Dallas. Both of them have been record-setting Pro Bowl cornerbacks in their time down there. He's been the guy who went out and found Jordan Lewis and helped him get to an all-pro level back in 2024. Like, again, guys with skins on their wall who set a standard. I know that Dallas had a full step back season this year, which is why these guys are no longer there this season. But you're bringing in somebody who has, again, NFL experience. You're bringing in somebody who, again, is being looked at as a I mean, for Mike McCarthy, he was the assistant head coach. That means that you're talking about him being one of those top guys who can deal with the responsibility, just like what you're bringing Antwaan Randle in here to do. I think this, again, is another really good hire for the Bears, bringing in guys with experience, bringing in guys who understand what it's like to have a heavy workload and have guys that they have brought in. You can clearly see them and that they have been able to go out there and develop them. I do think that it's a little interesting that he's dealing with being the passing game coordinator, now going on the other side of the ball, but you got to know how the passing game works to be able to defend it. He was a phenomenal DB at the NFL level. I think that he was solid. All pro. All pro.
Phenomenal is like
all pro.
Dion.
I didn't say he was a Hall of Famer. No.
You said phenomenal. You said phenomenal.
All pro's pretty good.
Dion's a guy.
He's good.
Pretty good.
Dion's
solid.
Pretty
Solid. DB.
No, you gonna disrespect? He just got here. You disrespected him already.
Oh my God!
He just got here, Joe.
He said phenomenal. I remember watching him. He was good.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
I remember watching him. No, what do you guys think about the hire of Al Harris coming in and kind of this coaching staff as a whole as it's rounding out here to start?
I think that what I like is if he's building it out from the top. You got the head coach, you got the assistant head coach. So we're getting things in place. You know, if it's being tiered a certain way, and if you got your assistant head coach, you got your passing game coordinator, so that's creating a structure. I guess we're going to need to see a running game, the running game coordinator. We're going to need to see our O-line coach. We're going to need to see, probably tight ends coach, like all those things kind of, in succession. And we're still waiting to hear back about this DC. But I mean, to me, it's all fine on paper. We got to see what happens when we get the results.
You got to see it play out.
But I mean, it's nice. I mean, cool. I think the names, I like hearing the names of these guys versus like, who the heck is this? Like, you feel better knowing like, okay, yeah, I can get behind that guy because
I think
he got some skin in the game.
Here's the thing though, right? And Ringo, you can comment on this. Like, These aren't cheap guys. These aren't, hey, that's my buddy that was over there with me. Antwaan Randle cost a bag.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about Al Harris. Al Harris was given a promotion and extra money to stay with that franchise. If you look at Dallas fans right now, they are like, oh, dang it. That's a guy we did not need to lose here.
He was also an assistant head coach. We have two guys that are assistant head coaches or
but I mean
that's great.
But if even if you also look at the names that Pat mentioned, Jordan Lewis, Dog, Trayvon Diggs, even though sometimes he be getting cooked. Dog.
Be getting cooked sometimes.
Deron Bland.
He'll let you get past him.
Yeah. Deron Bland, Dog as well. So it's literally every stop that he's been to, it's like, hey, these guys are good. How great do you want to be?
But the point is that they are respected to a point that you are made an assistant.
Absolutely.
Coach. You're elevated. So as two guys that have been elevated to assistant head coach. If you get Dennis Allen, that is a former head coach. Like, we're getting top guys that have experience. Yeah. And that's always been my issue. My whole knock on Ben Johnson was, we're going to get a rookie head coach. He got to figure out how to play head coach. You got two guys that's been part of that process, that's been part as an assistant head coach. So Randle L was technically tiered right around where Ben Johnson is at OC. But Randle L's under Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell. You know what I'm saying? So there's a certain level of just.
Oh no, he wasn't an assistant.
I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. Al Harris was assistant Harris.
Yes.
And now this guy's being promoted, but the idea is that there's enough respect that they can command, and that gives you some experience in terms of like in this room, in this coaching staff. It's going to be an expensive coaching staff. This probably might be a $30 million a year coaching staff.
I said this, and you got to add in Flus's money as well. You might be talking about spending $40 million on your coaching staff.
But you get what you pay for,
right? Like and 100%. And that's my thing, right? You look at your previous coaching staff. Not to say there weren't some solid names on there. I like Thomas Brown as an offensive coordinator. I liked him as a quarterbacks coach, even though he didn't get a lot of love in there as the quarterbacks coach. But like you look at guys like that, you can get them in there on the cheap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We had an $8 million coaching staff last year, Pat. What do you want to do?
That you had what'd you have? We had 8, 10.
I think Flus was 5. Was he 5?
No, Flus was 8. Flus was 8.
Was he 8 million? Okay.
Flus was getting 8. Yeah, 8, 10, 12. You probably had like a
13 and a half.
$18 million coaching staff. I'll tell you this right now. We've hired 2 position coaches and an assistant head coach. We might already be at 20.
Yeah. No, more than that. Because if
you include Flus's money,
I'm hearing he's 13 or 15, somewhere in that range.
Somewhere in that range. You also got to include you're still paying Flus this year, so you're still paying him on the books.
Yeah, we get that.
Well.
But when he's gone,
because you can't, because that's the difference in this. That's why I said this is different for the McCaskies. Like the video, if you agree with this, you're paying a coach $8 million.
To sit at home.
And we're talking about you building a coaching staff that without the $8 million, you also got to pay all these assistants. I don't know how much was on their contracts. I don't know how many years was left, right? You let a lot of guys go. You have to pay all of them.
Probably like 2 years on some of these guys.
More than likely, right? You have to pay all of them.
Mm-hmm.
George McCaskey is allowing them to go out and spend money while still paying dudes that ain't putting in no work.
Yeah.
That's new.
But that's called bad.
Different.
But that's also paying for bad decisions. Like, he understands that that's bad money. Like, a lot of these coaches, a lot of these owners are doing that. There's guys that are paying.
But he ain't never understood that. That's why
I can't give him any. I get that, but he's like Kevin Warren's like, look,
he's got to pay 2025 now.
I mean, like I said, over the time, like you get what you pay for. Like I said, I've been in IT background for years. I can remember where you had cheap CFOs and they want a penny pinch. And it's like, look, first of all, you're driving me crazy because that means I can only buy some of the cheaper equipment. Now I got to come back. This stuff is either outdated, doesn't work within a year, and now we're going to spend more money. You just do it right, spend a little bit more. So it's the same principle. You get what you pay for. And so shout out for Georgia finally figuring that out. I mean, really, to me, it sounds like they really actually want to win. Yeah. They don't. Most of these owners don't care. as long as ticket sales are winning, as long as the TV contracts are coming
Hey Joe, take a second, let it breathe. Over 1,500 in the chat.
1,500.
Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. If you're just getting in here, Chicago Bears hired Antwaan Randle as their assistant head coach and wide receivers coach, and also hired Al Harris as their passing game coordinator. Go ahead, Joe, finish out your point.
Well, I'm just saying that it's nice to see that it took you forever to figure out. First of all, it's a drop in the bucket. You guys are billionaires. $30 million is nothing to a billionaire. That is, I mean, it is a small, minute amount of money. So the fact is, like, you had to figure out, like, look, you bring in the guy that you want. I mean, shout out to Kevin Warren. That's all I got to say. Shout out to Kevin Warren, because there's no way this is getting done if Ted Phillips was there. I think that if Ryan Poles did not have this dude, he's getting his hands is tied. He's going up there. They're not going to do that. So no, I'm excited to see that. I want to see this payoff of this offensive, brain trust that they're putting in place.
Yeah.
And to see we should see something, But again, I'm waiting on my offensive line stuff. That's probably the one we're going to be most excited about is where our O-line coach is.
Well, I think what does scare me a little bit here is it seems like we missed out on Hank Fraley. He was the offensive coordinator choice. I was excited about that because of what you just brought up, the O-line coach. Again, we talked about this earlier, but Tom Pelissero tweeted this out that the Lions are promoting Hank Fraley to run game coordinator, offensive line coach per sources, an important piece of the puzzle staying in Detroit as Dan Campbell remodels his staff following the departure of both coordinators. We also got word, though, that the Bears are interested in hiring a OC possibly from Denver. They're interviewing, or they reached out to possibly try and talk to Declan Doyle, one of the names linked to the Bears in their quest as per Brad Biggs to fill Ben Johnson's staff is Broncos tight end coach Declan Doyle. He joined Denver in 23 after 4 years with the Saints. The connection, of course, is Dan Campbell. Chicago would likely have to give him the title of OC to get him out of Denver. I will say this, boys, when I heard that name, what didn't stand out in my brain?
What's that?
That elite tight end room in Denver. Don't get cheap now. That felt like a comfort name. We've had a lot of highs, a lot of kumbaya on this episode. We're all excited about the two hires that the Bears have made. I understand the interview. Maybe he's more. And again, this offensive coordinator would not be calling plays. That is very important in this. He's essentially somebody, and I believe
he's a gopher.
He's not a gopher, but I believe Declan Doyle was with the Saints, essentially their pass game coordinator or their offensive assistant, kind of in that. So he does understand the offensive side of the ball. Sometimes a position group don't work for you, right? Guys have been a part of multiple position groups in their time in the NFL. All of them don't go perfectly for you. I think wasn't Tomlin like a
DB coach.
He was a DB's coach, but wasn't he also like a tight ends coach or something like that as well? Like something on the other side of the ball. And they were like, we think you would work better over here. I may be wrong on that. It might not be Tomlin, but one of the coaches move around position groups all the time because it's about how you speak to that position group. I'm not saying that Declan Doyle couldn't come in here and be a good name for the Bears, but yeah, I mean, it's that's not a name that popped out at me. I liked when we had Fraley on the list. Yeah, I mean,
no, he was a DB coach from 01 to 05. He was a DC for the Vikings in 06, and then
Tomlin was,
and then he became head coach of the Steelers in 07.
Okay.
But he was pretty. I mean, in college, he was DB coach for 3 years, and he was a wide receiver coach in '97.
Hey, shout out Hank Boyles with this.
Hank,
this
I was just about to bring that point out. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, he has to have something to him, because you've been there with Sean Payton the whole time, and we know, like, Sean Payton is still considered like one of the great offensive minds to this day, and we know how meticulous he is at his job. Also, Ben Johnson said, "Hey, whoever I put in as OC got to work a lot of late nights."
Yeah,
it sounds like
a lot of late nights. So I mean, they gonna be lock in step. So I mean, I can't listen. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it because I know what I like to say. Right now, on paper season is coming up. So,
well, you guys realize that like what's happening is we sound like we're getting a lot of the New Orleans ish tree.
Yeah.
Like from defense, the offensive side of things. So we're probably getting a lot of that New Orleans like connections and stuff. That's what's going to end up being up here in Chicago.
Listen, which I love. I mean, these are guys from the New Orleans staff that won. Like when I heard Dennis Allen, instantly tingly. Instantly. I'm excited. Shout out to Crimson in the chat, man. Hey, if y'all are in here over 1,000 in the chat, man, hit that like button. Stop playing with us, man. That's
you guys
crazy,
don't like
man.
us? Come on, man.
They don't fool with us. They don't fool with us. Oh boy, what do we got here, Baki? Baki says breaking news: Bears have hired Joel Holt as the offensive line coach. Joel Holt is already planning on signing only recruits for center.
I was holding out.
Joel Holt.
I had an interview. I was in line.
If you're new, this is Joel. That's not a real person. Everybody in the chat that's not here normally hasn't subscribed to us was like, Joel Holt, who's that guy? I've never heard of him.
Who is that?
He's so cool though.
You do look like you got hired as a coach. Like you do look like you're waiting to keep that under wraps.
As long as they hire me for run game coordinator, we cool.
Hey, listen, Ringo's the guy you want for your run game coordinator. Ringo only believes in running the football. You shouldn't have drafted Caleb Williams.
No, that's not. I believe in time.
I'm sorry. He only believes in running the football and screen passes. There we go. There's the two.
I believe in time of possession.
Yeah, I bet you do. Ringo running a 1984 playbook right now.
Hey, that is a. Hey, if we get the O-line that I was talking about the other day, hey, what?
Hey, you said they running. Hey, boys, get out there. You're running. Listen, I'll say this.
Hey, Baki, you better believe it.
Hey, I will say this though. I like the direction that we're heading, like Joe brought out. I like where this coaching staff is starting off at. I like that these are the first names that we hear. As Hawk Harrelson used to say, y'all remember it? Where every time the White Sox would get on get 3 runners on base in the bottom of the 9th when we're down 4. Don't stop now, boys. That's my philosophy. I'm Hawk Harrelson the rest of the way. Don't stop now, boys. I'm not. Keep this going and keep this momentum. Take what you're doing right now with the coaching staff. Take that mindset into free agency. Take that mindset into the draft. And I think that this is the part that does excite me. The green light is really lit. You have a head coach that understands that and is being aggressive about it. Antwaan Randle is not a small hire. Al Harris is not a small hire. He's walking into Kevin Warren, Ryan Poles' office and going, hey, boys, y'all still got some money left over? Because we about to spend some. y'all still got that bag that you took the money out for me? Because I'm going to need you to grab some more up out of there.
Really, I love to me, it means more about guys being able to identify talent, guys being able to work with talent versus like they've been there. Like you said, Al Harris was a very good cornerback. Antwaan Randle was a solid receiver for years.
Yeah,
you got guys coming from like the Doyle. If he's coming from the New Orleans, tree, and it doesn't hurt to come from, the Sean Payton line. Like we're getting quality guys, but also I think to a point where we hopefully can identify and make players better. And that's the whole point. Like it's a sad thing. Like it feels good. Like outside of winning a Super Bowl, it's nice to know when you get 10, 12, 13 players, to go to the Pro Bowl. We've only had 1, 2. Like we're not developing anybody in Chicago, outside of just, natural talent. But to imagine where a lot of guys can take a leap because they were put in good positions to succeed and to win. So I'm very, I'm encouraged to see what we're doing here.
No, yeah, very, very encouraging, very exciting. I hope that this continues to move forward. I will say this. There's one thing about Ben Johnson that does scare me. By the way, hit that like button if you're in here. Subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do, man. If you want to follow us over on the podcast platform, if you just want to listen in to the podcast, you can do that on Spotify. You can do that on Apple Podcasts. You can do that wherever you get your podcast. If you want to stick around here on the YouTube side of things, man, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that you're hitting that like button. The one thing that does scare me is this, it's a twofold thing, right? Ben Johnson was on First Take today, And on First Take, they asked him about some of the struggles that the Bears had last season. And the one thing that I love about Ben Johnson is he is not believing PFF. He is very open about the offensive line was a problem. Y'all got to stop believing PFF.
I'm
The
not buying
offensive line was a problem. I like hearing that from my new head coach because it means that you believe that you need to go out there and address said problem. He's going on a couple of shows. He's on his media tour right now, and he has talked about this ad nauseum. He's brought up how, we got to get some things fixed there. We'll address that when we're finally able to sit down, get the staff in place, and take a look at it. What does scare me is he keeps saying this, and it makes me think he's going to do something stupid in the draft. He keeps going, I really believe that it starts in these trenches and a strong run game.
Well, we need that.
I like the strong run game name.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this. I will say this. Let's get this right. The part of it is going to make me happy. He's saying this, zero belief in DeAndre Swift. Is anybody else getting that from this? Zero belief.
Oh yeah. But
you don't believe in I think he's gonna do well.
Bro.
Nah.
You realize Ben Johnson told them to trade DeAndre Swift after his first year.
He was there
right?
and let him go to maybe they make him. I don't know what the heck.
Hey,
it's a really good point.
Zero belief in DeAndre Swift. I like the fact that we're really in on getting this run game going. Don't you dare go out there and draft a running back with the 10th overall pick. Don't you dare go.
My name is Antwaan Randle, and I approve this match.
I will strike you.
I don't want to neither. I want my lineman.
Don't you dare. I'm not saying that he will, but I'm telling you, I will rage quit life.
Pat.
If this man goes out and adds a running back early in the draft. If it's after the third round, I'm here for it.
Calm down.
If it's after the third round, I'm here for it. You want to know what? First off, this is a very heavy running back draft.
Bro, Genty.
Yes.
No, we're not getting Genty. Ringo.
Yeah, Genty, Scotty. No, it's some names. It's some names.
I'm with him.
But you can go third, you can go fourth round and get some of these guys. Listen, at this point, you can't even piss me off drafting a running back in the fourth round because you took a punter last year.
Well, I would say, what if they end up signing like a defensive end? So they go lineman, first pick, second round, they might do another lineman, and then they might take another, or maybe they take a running back in the second round. Who's going to be your starter because it's a second round pick. I want my team. As long as I get Jake Majors and a lineman, you're the one that brought it up.
I think Roshan, because it's great value at the position. Because it's great value at the position, and you know what they did in Detroit.
Yes, they did do this in Detroit. Here's my thing. My fear is that you're going to believe that the Gibbs pick was what put you over the top in Detroit, which it may have been. But you know who was already there? That entire offensive line. You know what was already there? A quarterback who had MVP seasons at that point. You already had wide receivers in place that could go out there offensively and be some dogs. I think the reason we laughed at it was because exactly what happened. We were like, you basically only have Aiden Hutchinson on the defensive line. You probably need to address that. They kind of did, but yeah, I mean they really addressed it by a trade. They needed DBs. Like I'm not saying Gibbs isn't a great pick for them, but when you looked at their team and when you look at our team, that's a different conversation.
Well, it's going to be interesting.
I mean, do you really need to load? Do you really need to load up on O-line though?
Yes.
You need to load.
Ringo,
you need to load up on it though.
How many sacks?
I'm talking. No, what I mean is.
Where's the board?
Do you need to load up on it like crazy? Because what's gonna happen is he's definitely gonna try to implement what they did in Detroit here.
Yeah, but they probably had like seven person rotation on O-line.
I'm literally just saying what it is. I'm not saying that y'all are wrong.
But Ringo, in Detroit, what they took before they got the Gibbs was Penei Sewell, Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
They took the trenches. This is the year for you to take the trenches. You can go get defensive ends.
I don't think he would do nothing crazy at 10.
I'm nervous.
Just talking about Genty, you know.
I'm nervous.
He's not doing that at 10.
He's better not.
Hey, bro.
I don't
if it ain't Will Campbell or Kevin Banks.
Bro, listen.
I'm nervous,
let me. I got you, bro. Listen, we
missed out on my boy Verse last year. I said we needed Verse, and this dude is cooking.
Hold on. You got Genty, you got Scotterbo, you got Henderson, you got Jenkins. Just Pat. Just calm down.
Bro.
You know what?
Calm down.
Hey,
it's
no, because it's the thing. He keeps saying it. Nobody asks him about it. They're like, "What do you think about the trenches?" He's like, "Well, I believe the trenches is where you got to start, but that run game's got to be great, baby." I'm just like,
bro.
But it's true. You do need a running game. That doesn't mean we have to. We have talent.
At least 6 running backs in this draft. I don't think he's doing that at 10. That's what I'm saying. I don't, man. Look.
Hey, listen, but I say this: you can find a lot in this draft on both sides of the football. I think he's smart enough to know not to go running back this year. Just makes me a little nervous. That's all I'm saying. Just makes me a little nervous.
I want Campbell or Kelvin Banks. I want in the first round. I want even if it is Josh Simmons.
You want both of them in the first round?
I'm just saying either one. I want Jake Majors as my center or one of the top centers in that second round pick.
Yeah.
And that other second round pick, it's either another lineman or if they got to make if it's the best player available, because after that point, it is best player available.
Yeah,
I think they're going after Will. I made the point the other day. If it comes out that they get Trey Smith from KC, then I think they go Will at 10. That's just my thought process if it's me.
Yeah, we'll see what they end up doing. I think there's going to be a lot of free agency acquisitions that are brought in here before we get to the point where we have some of the question marks. I guess I think they're going to spend big in free agency at a lot of the question marks. I think you go into the draft kind of looking for your stars. I wouldn't be surprised if they trade some of these back end picks to go get blue chip pieces.
I'm curious to see where this. I know, because I'm curious to see what we do with him.
Oh, I love Ian Wheeler. I told y'all that boy moving. That boy Ian Wheeler is moving.
Nah, that's not what. Hey, that how much was it? $200K or $500K or what?
Oh no, he makes $2.96 million over the next 3 years, and he's moving. Oh yeah, I'm all in on Ian Wheeler, baby. And guess what? After them 3 years. Who's the next Ian Wheeler?
Could you just imagine it for a second, if we did get hired by the Bears, I'm the run game coordinator, bro, and I'm sitting up there telling the running back, oh yeah, bro, you finna have a Pro Bowl, yeah, bro, we finna do all this. You go into the GM office pass hey, bro, I know you ran for 2,500 yards, man, and I know you caught 79 receptions. I got 20.
I
told y'all I wouldn't have paid.
I got $3 million for you, bro.
Hey, bro.
What I wanted was special. What I wanted was special. The Saquon to me is special. Christian McCaffrey's special.
Oh, bro.
I'm not just trying to pay for running. Now, if you're going to do running back by committee situation, then it is what it is.
Christian McCaffrey is dead, and Saquon Barkley got the Eagles' offensive line.
No. But the point is
that Swift had that same offensive line.
First of all, seems he's dead. How he got beat to death in Carolina. He willed himself to have that great year.
He was decent, but he not Saquon.
No.
DeAndre Swift had 3 hot games.
Yeah, but my point is that there's specialty guys, there's special talented guys. If we can get them, I would like that. Other than that, I'm not just taking a running back just to have a running back. To your point, they are in a sense disposable.
I feel like you're replaceable.
No,
you a little game doesn't matter. When we got Swift in here, you a little tingly.
Running back? No, I was not. I was just happy that.
Hey, hold on. I gotta side with Pat. You was a little tingly.
It's a little tingly when we got Swift in here.
Okay, what did I say? I said I wanted to run back.
No. This is exactly what we said. We was like, hey, the minute he started scoring, Pat can't say nothing.
Hey, when did that happen?
Week 4.
We did say that, Joe. hey, you know I'm rocking with you on the right, bro.
What I said was I wanted a running back in the backfield that at least they can trick a defense.
Yeah.
I didn't want some type of gadget
Yeah,
guy.
dual
So
threat
he's
back.
in the backfield.
Back.
They're running this. If they're running this running back, that means this. So to me, that was my point of getting Saquon. When they got Swift, is like, all right, cool. He's a Pro Bowler. He could catch the ball. He might actually give us a multifaceted type of looks in our offense. However, that did not necessarily happen.
Yeah, it was terrible. You were tingling. Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Of course, if any more news breaks, we'll be back live on the channel. Of course, tap in with us on the podcast side as well. The Windy City Breeze, wherever you get your podcast platforms. For the super producer, Joel Holt, and man formerly known as Ringo J. Stefan the Don. It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there in Chicago. Bear Don, one love. Love the start that we're off to. We'll see y'all if nothing breaks Monday morning. Peace.
One love. Campbell Skoronski 2.0. I don't know.
Nah,
you might have to put him in guard.
If they get Trey Smith, I would go Campbell, and then I would get Jake Majors in the 3rd round.
No, we're going to probably take him in the 2nd round, even though he could be a 3rd round grade. But that would be great.
Well, maybe I'm interested.
Fly up the board.
I low key want to get to the combine because the measurements is going.
Well, we don't know who's going to shoot up on the board. There's going to be somebody that's going to be like the star and the hidden gem from some college that they didn't know.
Because my brother he signed this dude.
Can you say that online? Let me end the stream before you start talking.